Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to look at the history of evolutionary theories here, and this is extremely brief. For a more detailed look, I would suggest, first of all, Henry Morris's Long War Against God. And then there was another one by a Canadian guy, something about evolution in the New World Order. Can't remember his name. I can picture the book. It was excellent on that subject as well. But Dr. Molenpaul, he's a scientist. We're just using this book kind of as a discussion starter on our channel. Again, thanks for being here on various subjects. This one is on creation versus evolution. So here's the history of evolutionary theories according to Dr. Molenpaul. May throw in some other things as well. So Epicurus suggested that living things might have developed from simple forms. Paul encountered Epicureans in Athens. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Empedocles, where we get the term atoms, he precursed this some as well. Then Aristotle, who was Alexander the Great's teacher, 384 to 322 BC, believed in a gradual transition from the imperfect to the perfect, and that man stood at the highest point of one long continuous ascent. And then it kind of goes forward to Lamarck. Sometimes Darwinianism is referred to as Lamarckism. He lived from 1744 to 1829. Postulated, Lamarck did, that the formation of new organ is a result of a new need which has arisen and continues to be felt by the organism. A worm wanting eyes could develop them, or we could develop eyes in the back of our heads by merely wishing for them intensely enough. So that's pretty interesting. This postulate is unacceptable. Another postulate was that all changes occurring during a lifetime of an organism are transmitted to its offspring by the process of reproduction. This theory is known as the inheritance of acquired characteristics. He would explain the long necks of giraffes as follows. Droughts on the plains of Africa require giraffes to stretch their necks to reach a few leaves, and though hundreds of generations the giraffe acquired the long neck. Now, of course, that can be disproved many ways, and we definitely know that is wrong now with deoxyribonucleic acid studies, DNA studies. But let's look at circumcision, for example, that 4,000 years ago, God told Abraham, you circumcise all the males. Well, that has to happen 4,000 years later, several dozens of generations later, because the DNA says this is the way it's going to be. Men are going to be made with foreskins, with extraordinarily rare exceptions because of the accumulation, because of the fall of erratic DNA that's getting worse and worse, the accretion every generation, whereas we're not living to be 900 years old any longer. And so if somebody has their leg amputated, well, that isn't passed down to the next generation. It's in the DNA. It's a closed system that's written what's going to happen, and external factors don't affect DNA in those ways. There is epigenetics that can affect the quality of the DNA, but not what the DNA reads. So, yeah, that's just blown away. And so then Darwin, 1809, 1882, popularized evolution with the publication of his book, 1859, The Origin of the Species by Means of Natural Selection. Now, a lot of people don't like, and I certainly don't like, the subtitle. Let's read Darwin's subtitle, or The Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. His theory proposed that new species arise by the continual survival, reproduction of the individuals best fitted or adapted. Dawkins has tried to explain this. What a great writer Dawkins is. He's just writing mistaken theories. This theory is known as the survival of the fittest. And so Darwin would explain, for example, the long necks of giraffes by saying that only longer necked giraffes survived, reproduced. He got this with Darwin's finches, which has now been disproven. And I've probably done videos on that. I intend on doing a much longer one using icons of evolution as a discussion starter there, because he has so many great points on that. But and then De Vries in 1905 published his Species and Varieties, Their Origin by Mutation. He made his observations of garden with the evening primrose weed. Some of the plants were so different he suggested new species might arise by mutation. The thing is almost all mutations are not beneficial. So these are the different theories of evolution and the history of evolution, and it just appears not to be true. I'd stick with the Bible. God did not choose the most inefficient ways of death through millions of years to creation. He just said, let there be, and there was. God bless. We love you. Check out our other videos. Join us daily. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.